here in Canada's Food Island. So, I don't know how many people are familiar with a short rib, but basically what it is it's an extension of the ribs that come off the prime rib, that nice key roast that's on the loin of the steer, and this just comes down off the roast. Okay, this is kind of a retail cut. A commercial cut for restaurants. A lot of the time in the stores, you'll see them that the butchers cut them this way, but for this demonstration, I'm going to cut between the bone this way. Okay. So it's a 4-bone short rib. Just get it cut up here a little bit. And what we're going to be doing with this short rib today is we're going to be braising it. Braising is a cooking method that is in liquid, covered, and cooked slowly. I just call it low and slow. There's lots and lots of different types of foods that you can cook in that fashion. So we're just going to throw the short rib in the bowl here. I've got my pan on, preheating. We're going to put a little oil on there. A little bit of Montreal steak spice. Get that all gelled up there. Okay, seasoned up. Then we're going to put it in the pot. Get a little sizzle going on. You want to brown up the beef. Anytime you're cooking some beef, you want to get some caramelization on it. Gives it a little bit of crust, a little bit of flavor, a lot of flavor actually, and it helps your end sauce have a nice rich brown color to it and whatnot. Just having a little technical thing here. Is it working? I'm not going to go through the entire demonstration because we just simply don't have the time. But anyway, basically what we're going to do is brown this up. It'll take like 4 or 5 minutes. And then we're going to start putting some aromatics in it. What I have here is called a mirepoix. That's what our chefs call it in the kitchen. And mirepoix is just your aromatic vegetables, onions, carrot, and celery. It's usually 2 parts onion, 1 part carrot, 1 part celery. You can put other things in there too if you want to throw in some rutabaga, some parsnip or whatnot. It's perfectly fine. But these are the classical vegetables that you put in there. So as the beef is browning, you throw your mirepoix in the pot with it, right? It's nice to get it browned up a little bit as well. Again, color is flavor. So the flavors that we're going to put in today, once things are browned up a little bit of tomato paste. I think we're getting some mash now. A little bit of tomato paste. Again, it adds a nice richness to it, richness to the sauce, and it's just a very good flavor. We're going to put some garlic in there. Okay. We're going to put some nice fresh rosemary sprigs and some bay leaf. Okay. Also, we're going to put the liquid part of it. We have some red wine here. You can use whatever red wine you choose. I think I specifically said one on the recipe. The recipe is going to be found on canadasfoodisland.ca. You can go find that recipe and try it at home. It's something that you want to start early in the day because it does take about 3 hours from start to finish. And then there's a little bit of rest time and some reduction time that you're going to allow for with the beef as well. So we're going to throw in that tomato paste. Okay. Again, if I was doing this at home or at work, I'd be giving it a little bit more browning time. But for this particular demo, we're going to take it a little bit quicker. Throw in your herbs. You could use other herbs like thyme or things like that. But rosemary is one of my favorite. A couple of bay leaf. You can put peppercorns in there if you want it a little extra spicy, but I find the Montreal steak spice has got enough kick to it. We're just going to deglaze the pan with a little bit of red wine. Okay, good enough of that. Typically red wine you want to reduce a little bit to fortify it, but with this low and slow method, it's okay to just keep on going. This is just some beef stock that I brought from the restaurant. You guys can purchase some beef stock at the store with you know, the Campbell's or whatever. I would recommend the no salt variety because this is already seasoned, and as things cook and cook down, that salt element really gets fortified, so you want to be careful with that. You can add a little bit later. So this is going to come to a boil. When it comes to a boil, you put a cover on it, put it in an oven around 300 degrees, and walk away until it's fork tender. Over here on this side, today, to go with our braised short rib, we've got some beautiful island carrots. we're going to glaze them with a deep roots distillery Honey Spirit. It's a very beautiful product. It's reminiscent of Scotch, actually. It's very, very tasty, very palatable, and it goes good with these carrots. So for that recipe, we're just going to put a little bit of butter in the pan. Okay, probably enough. Take the carrots, get them in there. As soon as I go. We're just going to season the carrots with a little bit of salt and pepper. Okay. A lot of the time I'll put some sugar on there as well, but because we're using honey, we don't need that. Nature's own sugar. Okay, back to the beef for a quick second. So, as I said in the beginning, these are a cut that's usually used for restaurants, a commercial thing, the long cut. But if you do have the side type that you find in the superstore or Sobeys butcher shop, it would reduce your cooking time a little bit just because it's smaller pieces of meat. So I said this is going to be about 3 hours. That might be back to about 2.5, something like that. You just want to try it. Test it with your tongs or a knife or a fork or something, and if it's kind of starting to fall off, then you know. Another good way to tell is when you can smell it. A lot of people ask me, how do you know when it's cooked? I said, when you can smell it. You know, you ever cook Christmas dinner, right? Turkey's cooking, nothing's happening, and then all of a sudden you can start to smell it, and that's a good key. Okay, as that's getting ready, I'm going to start putting together your samples, what everybody's loving to have. Today I'm serving with the short rib a horseradish whipped potato. So it's just potatoes that are well cooked, drained, mashed, whipped with some good butter, heavy cream, and then some horseradish. You know, you can buy horseradish in a little jar in the store, and it has a beautiful flavor. It goes excellently with beef. Okay. Just got to get this pan a little hotter here for the carrots. With the beef today, I'm going to be serving a little bit of pickled mustard seed. Okay, they're brined. Basically, it's mustard seed that you cook it a lot. You cook it and drain it, cook it and drain it, cook it and drain it to kind of cleanse them and to soften them a little bit. And then you put your pickling spice on there, or liquid, and they're delicious. Gives a nice little fresh pop to the whole meal as well. See, the carrots are starting to warm now. Make that stop. So you see the glaze that's going on the carrots there just naturally with the butter. Okay. Just gotta turn it up a little bit. There we go. Take a little bit of honey. Put a tablespoon or so. Okay. It's cold in this kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
The air. It affects their cooking utensils for sure. Okay, as soon as we get that going, we're going to get we're going to put a little bit of this Honey Spirit in there. Give it a little flame. Right? Cook off that raw alcohol taste. It keeps a nice flavor on it. Okay, as you see, our beef is starting to come to a boil here now. Okay, just mix it all around. And that's really as far as we're going to go with this today anyway, but once it does come to that full boil, put a cover on it and put it in the oven. Some mistake that some people make is like putting it in the oven too soon. The oven's down low at 300 degrees. It won't create that that simmer that you need. You have to have that happening in the pot. Cover it, put it in the oven, and the oven will maintain that simmer, but it won't create it at that low a temperature. Okay, now just for the carrots, a little fresh blast, we're going to throw in a little bit of fresh chopped parsley. Pretty them up a little bit, plus parsley's got lots of beautiful fresh flavor to it.
Not at all. That is great.
And then, Crystal, I think we're ready to start. So like I said, hey Kelly! So, of course, I started early in the day and whatnot. Again, whenever this is coming out of the oven, you'll have the description on your on the recipe that's provided at canadasfoodisland.ca. But you want to let this rest for a little bit. Keep it tented with some foil, just off in a warm spot, maybe on top of the stove or something like that. Meanwhile, you're going to reduce your liquid down a little bit. Usually you puree it with a emulsion blender, like a hand stick, and then strain it, and then put your beef back into it, get it all glazed up, and on the plate it goes. I already had the portions made, and I already had the sauce cooked down and ready to go, so. Okay, so can everybody see that? What's going on there? Okay, that's where you would just kind of put that cover on and put it into the oven. I'm just going to shut that off. And the carrots are glazed up and they're hot and ready to go, so shut that off. Now, you need a little bit of a trivia question or something, don't you, Kristen?
Well, I think I do. Does anybody want to win or want to get a
Okay.
All right, so what are we going to do, Irwin?
I want to keep it kind of half easy, right?
It's your call.
What are the vegetables in my mirepoix and what ratio are they?
Oh my God!
Great. Okay, so I'm going to start with dishing up what I would call like a restaurant plate. This is going to be Crystal's money shot. I'm going to put it on the website and all that fun stuff. And plus it's going to give you a better idea of what this would look like at home. So here's your whipped potatoes. Put a couple of dollops of that on there. Okay, we're going to take our short rib.
Wow.
It is a beautiful piece of meat, let me tell you. It is delicious. A couple of carrots on there. A little bit of pea shoot. And I'm going to put a little bit of, a little bit of this reduction on there. Okay. And these are the brine mustard seeds. Adds a little texture. And a little bit of rosemary. And there you go. That's the kind of thing you can get at Papa Joe's right there. Woo!